The paradox we are about to explore is called the Doppelgänger Paradox. Imagine a quiet street where time seems to hesitate, and suddenly a face appears, familiar yet strange. It is your face, but not quite. This reflection of self challenges the bedrock of identity itself. When we see ourselves mirrored perfectly in another, the question lingers like a soft echo in an empty room. What truly defines us? Is it the memories etched deep within, the choices that shape our days, or something more elusive? A soul, perhaps? As the doppelganger moves beyond our gaze, invisible to our own recognition, the world quietly asks us to reconsider the very nature of being unique, of being singular in a world that suddenly feels doubled and unreal. At the heart of the doppelganger paradox lies a whisper that unsettles the certainty of selfhood. It unfolds gently in the shadows of thought. When another moves exactly as you do, thinks as you think, feels as you feel, what becomes of your individuality? This phantom twin, a perfect mimic, blurs the lines between what is original and what is copy. In this murmur of reflection, the paradox does not rush, but invites a slow reckoning. If both claim authenticity, then which version is the self? And if the self can multiply, does it remain whole? Our concepts collapse softly into questions, leaving behind a delicate mystery bound to the essence of existence. Elena walks down a fog-laden street as muted lights flicker and tremble through the mist. She turns a corner, and across the cobblestones, a figure materializes. Her own reflection come to life. The same solemn gaze, the familiar tilt of her head, the precise cadence of her steps. It is as though a shadow cast by her soul has stepped forward into the waking world, silent and unseeing, passing as a ghost. Elena's breath catches. Her heart pulses with a tender ache of recognition and alienation. This perfect other, who moves like a dream made flesh, awakens in her a torrent of questions. Who is she now, and what does meeting herself mean in this suspended dusk? In the days that follow, Elena's life is touched by a quiet obsession. The encounter repeats in memory, lingering like a candle's flicker in a darkened room. She traces pathways once so familiar, now transformed by the ghostly presence of her double. Every mirror becomes a portal to uncertainty, every reflection a fractured echo of self. Elena feels the line between who she is and who she might be draw thinner, trembling like a single thread upon which her identity balances precariously. Alone in her room, surrounded by fading photographs and whispered secrets, she begins to see the fragile architecture of self, carved by memories shared and moments uniquely hers. The paradox deepens as Elena confronts herself in quiet reverie. If the doppelganger shares her memories, her fears, her joys, then what remains as her own? She ponders whether the soul can be duplicated, or if it is a flame that exists uniquely in a singular vessel. Her days grow shadowed with doubt and fascination, as she wonders if identity is tied to choice or consciousness itself. The presence of this double unsettles her sense of being. A haunting weight presses gently on her thoughts, blurring boundaries between self and other. Elena wrestles with a silent question. Can two minds that mirror perfectly both claim to be alive and real? Night after night, Elena drifts into restless dreams, where her double exists not as stranger, but as an inseparable part of herself. They share whispering conversations beneath silver moonlight, stepping through corridors without end, voices merging in a haunting harmony. The paradox becomes a dance of shadow and light. She wonders if the self is less a fortress and more a fluid landscape, ebbing and flowing between halves made whole only in twilight. This unfolding tension nourishes a strange empathy, a recognition that perhaps identity is not static, but a living reflection, ever changing in the presence of its twin. The boundary between Elena and her doppelganger softens into mist. At last, Elena glimpses a revelation shimmering just beyond understanding. What if the question is not which self is original, but whether such distinctions matter at all? She senses that identity might be a story we tell ourselves, a pattern woven from memories and choices that can be echoed without losing meaning. In the twilight between certainty and mystery, Elena finds a quiet peace, a poetic acceptance that the self may be as much about shared experience as singular existence. The paradox, once a source of unease, now invites a gentle reflection on how we define who we are in a world filled with endless mirrors. The realization dawns softly. The doppelganger's presence has revealed something profound. Our sense of self may reside not in the body nor in the mind alone, but in the ever-watchful awareness that observes it all. Elena feels herself dissolve and reform in waves of understanding, as if identity is not a fixed point, but a flux of perception. This awareness does not diminish the self, but enriches it, spreading like candlelight into vast, shadowed spaces. With this insight comes a tenderness for the mystery of being, a humility that embraces the paradox without resistance. Elena's solitary figure, framed by flickering light, becomes a quiet testament to the enduring enigma of self. As she lies still now, breathing in the soft glow of candlelight, Elena wonders about the journey she has traveled, from startled encounter to contemplative depth. She ponders with quiet courage what it would mean to meet another perfect version of herself. Would she feel connection or solitude, closeness or distance? The paradox lingers like a whispered invitation, encouraging a tender confrontation with loneliness and belonging. It is a question that extends beyond her, to all who seek the self amid shadows and reflections. Elena's story quietly stirs the heart, asking us to listen carefully to the silent spaces where identity unfolds and dissolves. And now, as you watch and listen, the doppelganger paradox gently reaches toward you. If someone else, perfect and whole, lived your life, would your existence still feel authentic, still uniquely yours? Or would you find yourself adrift, a single note in an endless echo? Is identity something tangible, bound by body and memory, or is it something far deeper, the quiet awareness that observes the dance of life and self? In this quiet moment between wakefulness and dreams, what does your own reflection reveal? Are we originals, copies, or something beautifully in between? Perhaps the answer waits patiently, softly inviting us to explore the mystery beyond the mirrored gaze.